Hi, I'm Pangea Finn, and today I'm going to be talking about Lowell Liebermann's Gargoyles, Movement 3. It's a contemporary piece, and it really well illustrates some of the topics that we talked about in class. Gargoyles was written in 1989 for a commission for the pianist Erich Hemme. It's inspired by a lot of Prokofiev pieces, and indeed the first and fourth movements have that Prokofiev feel, whereas the second and third are more lyrical. In comparison to the other movements of Gargoyles, this movement is lyrical and smooth, and it has a chromatic melody that's actually really pretty. The overall form of this piece is essentially a rondo form, so the main theme is interspersed with several other themes like A, B, A prime, C, A double prime, D. In this case, D is a coda, which uses mainly the theme from A. F sharp seems like it's the tonic, although the piece doesn't have a key signature and it has some very unique chord progressions, including jumps from a G sharp chord to an E chord, like in the coda. But they're written in such a way to sound smooth and calm. One thing that happens in a lot of chords is chromatic alterations, so like chords that have both perfect and diminished fifths, or both major and minor thirds. This last type of chord is called a split third chord, and it comes back a lot throughout this piece. We talked about it in class. It also happens to happen in the second movement as well. The melody of this piece is very lyrical and smooth, although it's also chromatic, just like the harmony. For example, when the melody comes in for the first time, it begins with a melody using the diatonic pitches, re through so, if you're thinking about F sharp as the tonic. But when the chord changes, the melody actually changes as well, so now it has a may or an A natural that wasn't there before. In the B section, the harmony consists of rising arpeggiated chords, while the melody is composed at least partially of appoggiaturas and resolutions. An appoggiatura is a type of non-chord tone which is approached by skip and resolves by step, and it's usually accented or on an accented beat. These appoggiaturas are unique because, unlike most appoggiaturas, they actually resolve in the same direction that they were approached, but it still works really well. There's also a part in the B section in the harmony in which the right hand and the left hand are doing a great example of these chromatic alterations. So what's happening is the left hand is playing almost exclusively minor chords, and the right hand is playing major chords kind of halfway at the same time. So it sounds both minor and major at the same time. It sounds split third. The return of the main theme in the A prime section is somewhat similar to the original, but two of the chords are switched around to create a smoother transition into the C section. In the first part of the C section, there are several chromatic-sounding melody segments accompanied by chromatically altered chords. First, a pair of split third chords, then a minor chord with an additional diminished fifth. In the latter part of the C section, the harmony is mainly static arpeggiated chords. These chords change from major to minor depending on whether the chord is being arpeggiated up or down. It's more of those chromatic alterations that will actually change the way that the chord sounds. In the melody, there are three slightly different versions of a similar melodic line. Each version starts with G sharp and ends with G sharp A. In between, each line has several pitches from the chord in the harmony, as well as a double neighbor ornamentation. In the A double prime section, the main theme is repeated. Harmonically, it's the same, but there's an interesting difference when you look at it melodically. Instead of there being just one melody, there are two melodies going on at the same time. The second melody has the same notes as the first, but offset. At the beginning of the section, this offset is a beat, but on the next part of the section it shrinks to half a beat, and it continues to vary throughout the section. In the coda, the idea of offset melodies returns, as increasingly higher melodies are played in the right hand, while the left hand repeats the same melody segment over and over, and the harmony retains the same F sharp major 7 chord. After these melodies end, the piece's harmony takes over. An odd chord progression ensues for two measures composed mainly of split third and minor diminished chords. The piece ends on an F sharp major chord, cementing the tonic. I personally think that the split third chords and all the chromatic alterations in this piece are what make it sound so ethereal. Almost classical, almost right there, but it's a little bit off. I really enjoyed analyzing this piece and sharing it because I think it helped me with the way that I played the piece. I think it gave me more insight into what it is that makes the piece sound the way it does, and how to more effectively bring that out to make the piece sound even more ethereal.